Hey, what's going on, guys? Andy Pride here, back with Milk and Cookies Total War. Today, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on one of the new units in the Otomo Clan Pack DLC, and I'm going to be talking about the Donderbuss Cavalry. The title of this video is going to be Donderbuss, Are They Overpowered? And I'm going to be answering that in the first couple minutes of this video. I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the Donderbuss and how they can be used effectively and whether they're overpowered or not. So, before any of this, I get into any of this, I would say that we need to enumerate what the differences are between overpowered and broken. A broken unit is a unit that no matter what you do to counter it, you're going to get destroyed by it. A broken unit is just something that you cannot be countered realistically. And I certainly do not think the Donderbuss Cavalry falls into that category. If anything, I would say the Donderbuss Cavalry is overpowered, because if you use it correctly and an enemy ends up not having cavalry at a certain point in the battle, they're dead. Their entire army is dead. Any unit that can kill an entire army is overpowered. But then again, there are also plenty of ways to counter the Donderbuss Cavalry as well. And obviously, one of the biggest pitfalls of the Donderbuss is that it only has a range of 50. And so cavalry can obviously kill Donderbuss very easily if the Donderbuss isn't microed properly. So what do you do if you see a Donderbuss Cavalry on the field at the beginning of a battle? Basically, your cavalry no longer becomes expendable. You cannot do a cav fight. You cannot afford to enter a cav fight, because if you lose that cav fight and that Donderbuss Cavalry is free to roam around the field and shoot at your guys, you're dead. Your entire army is dead, because like I said, they kill 80 men a volley if they're close range. And another thing about cav battles against someone who's using a Donderbuss is that Donderbuss are basically a cavalry unit in themselves. I mean, obviously they're cavalry, but they're an ultimate equalizer in a cavalry battle. If I have four cav units and you have 4 cav units, and then I have the Donderbuss, all I got to do is flank around behind you, get a volley off one of your cavalry units, and whether you have Great Guard or Spears of Shizukatake, it's going to disappear in one volley, and obviously that will turn the cav fight in my favor. So that's what I got to say about the Donderbuss Cav before we get into this replay. This guy that I was playing raged at me this game because I had Donderbuss, and we're going to press play right now, and you'll see why he raged. But it was ultimately his fault, how he played against me, and using my Donderbuss, he just did not play it right at all. But anyway, here we are on a key. Replay has started now. My light cav are running up to the top of the hill, and I was on the side of the map where he's closer to the top of the hill. So I realized that I need to push and get the top of this hill with my cavalry, because if I don't, he's going to have the uphill advantage, and my guys might just mass rout if he gets a downhill charge. He has some really weird upgrades on his no-dachis, which he has a bunch of charge upgrades instead of attack upgrades, which I don't recommend, but that's just what he had. He did have some good katanas, though, 19 attack, and some warrior monks. But he has 4 Yari cav, and I have 2 light cav, a fire cav, and a monk cav, and I just push up to the top. And I also have Kiyomasa's katana cav. I don't use it too much, but it is a really good unit, and it can destroy Yari cav, even though they are basically katana cav. They have 38 attack. I have maxed out attack on them, so they can do a ton of damage. But we're just going to do a little bit of a sloppy cav battle at the beginning. And like I said, the even though I would say that maybe we have kind of similar cav builds, and like without the Donderbuss, it might be a even fight. I'm just going to flank my Donderbuss around. Well, actually, I don't think I shoot at the cavalry. I think I shoot as infantry. But regardless, I have the Kiyomasa's katana cav, and that's going to destroy Yari cav, and you can see his cavalry is already wavering. But we're going to zoom in on this Donderbuss here, because I'm going to flank around and get a pot shot off at these katana samurai. It's not a great volley because they're not squared up to face me, but I still get a ton of kills on this volley. Yeah, I killed 27, 30, 30 men off the volley there. And I lost a little bit too many men in my Kiyomasa katana cav. I mean, they're already down to 13 men, but those 13 men with 38 attack can do a ton of damage. But he realizes that he lost the cavalry fight, and so he's gonna... Well, you could argue that it was wise that he pulled back to the other side of the hill, but what he doesn't realize yet is that my Donderbuss is just going to shoot at him the whole time, so he's going to have to attack me because he has no ranged units. And I see he's hightailing it to the other hill. He's not protecting his no-dachis or katanas, so I'm just going to get a rear charge off on them. And he's going to try to protect himself with the general, but obviously he doesn't want to leave his general in prolonged melee, so he's going to pull that out, and I get a rear charge off on this katana. Already down to 80 men, killed 40 men off the charge. And I get a little bunched up here. I probably should have flanked around and finished that katana off, but I don't end up quite doing great with that. But, I mean, they're already down to 50 men. They're pretty much already out of the fight. And so now we're just going to line up across from each other on opposite sides of the hill. And I'm going to run my Donderbuss forward and start trolling him a little bit. Yeah, I've realized why someone... It was at this point that he started raging. And I realized why someone would get extremely pissed off when there's pretty much nothing you can do. But like I said at the beginning of this battle, once you see a Donderbuss, your cavalry is not expendable because this will happen to you. And I could have trolled him much harder with this Donderbuss. I end up doing like 3 or 4 volleys, and then I'm like... Because he's yelling at me, I'm like, dude, you cannot just sit there. You have to attack me. You have no ranged units. You have to attack. And so I move down to the bottom of the hill, and he attacks me. But yeah, like at this point, there's no reason for him to just be sitting there. Like he needs to know that my Donderbuss is going to shoot him to death, and that he needs to get this infantry engagement off ASAP. And really the only way he can catch my Donderbuss now, unless I make a huge micro mistake, is with his general. And so, I mean, he's obviously in a really bad spot, and he's lost all his cavalry, and the balance bar is hugely in my favor. But yeah, I'm just going to move my Donderbuss up. I could have killed his entire army and kited him to death. I ended up not doing that. I wanted to be... I mean, he was raging at me, and I wanted to be a little bit honorable. But yeah, I will destroy 2 full units of his before I end up allowing him to enter melee. As you saw there, they probably got another 50, 60 kills. And we're just positioning now. And I have the workshop in the back of the map and have a Naginata attendant moving to the top of the hill. And have them pretty well surrounded. I'm going to wait for my cavalry to flank around first before we get this final engagement off. But he was so mad. He was calling me all sorts of names. And I understand. Like, when you can't do anything against someone who's using a unit like this, it's extremely frustrating. And I get that. But that's why you need to understand how mounted gunners and Donderbuss work. And so you know not to sacrifice your units at the beginning of the battle, so you have a counter to them. But we're just looking at each other, having a little staring contest at the moment. And in a second here, I'm going to flank my Donderbuss cavalry around and get an absolutely glorious volley off on his Naginata warrior monk zealots. And we're definitely going to get a close-up of that, because there's really nothing better in this game except maybe a close-up of a fire rocket volley than a Donderbuss close-range volley, and just seeing 80 men just disappear. It's a sweet unit. And if you use it right, it's extremely, extremely powerful. So yeah, it's at this point that he finally decides that he wants to attack. He is going to have a little bit of an uphill advantage, but it's not going to be a big deal, especially considering how few units he has left. He's already lost like 6 or 7 units. I'm going to run my Donderbuss cavalry up here and zoom in on this, because that warrior monk is dead. Oh my god. Yeah, down to 44 men in 1 volley, and I just pull back. And his 44 charge no dachis are going to go into melee, but I'm in spear wall and have meat shields up front, so that charge is just going to be negated on units that don't matter. And then as soon as we enter melee, he's pretty much screwed. I have my cavalry around on the flank, and I'm going to bring them around. He has no spears in the back, all his spears are tied down. And he doesn't have any meat shields either, so... yeah, I mean, he's already screwed. Cavalry's coming around behind, gonna get some nice rear charges off. He has activated Bonsai, so some of them won't rout right away, but obviously a rear charge is gonna do a lot of damage to his units. And then to finally troll him just a little bit more, I mean, this battle's already over, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna bring my Donderbuss cavalry up and get a range volley off on them, and we're gonna get a close-up of that as well. I mean, really, from the start of that battle, he was in really bad shape. He made the decision to enter in a cav battle that he probably had no chance of winning anyway. But when cavalry is the only counter to Donderbuss, really, or effective counter, or obviously ranged units as well, I mean, he was just in trouble right from the start. His general just appears in one volley of my Donderbuss, and he just mass routes. He only has one Nodachi left with Bonsai. And as soon as that Bonsai wears off, he's going to route. So I want to say good game to him. I don't use the Donderbuss Cavalry very often because, I think it is kind of a troll tactic, but there are plenty of ways to counter it. You just have to know what you're doing. And my opponent just made a mistake and let them get 240 kills, which is usually not a good thing. So we're going to go to the stat screen, and I will talk to you in a minute. Okay, welcome back to the stat screen. Let's take a quick look at what's going on here. I deployed 400 more men, and that's just because I had meat shields and he didn't. In fact, I don't know that he had any Yari Ashigaru or Naginata attendants. I think he just had melee units. I think, yeah, he was a 10-star. I don't remember how he was ranked or whatever, but regardless, it was pretty obvious he didn't play that well that battle. And I'm not trying to be mean to him. Just when you see a Donderbuss, you need to know how to counter it, because if you don't, you'll get destroyed like he did that battle. So let's look at the stats. I got 240 with my Donderbuss. I could have gotten a lot more if I just kited away with my main army and just shot him to death. I literally probably could have killed like his entire army pretty much. And then my Fire Cav got a bunch of kills because they were killing Katana Samurai that were trying to run away to the safety of the other hill. The Kiyomasa's Katana Cav, they're a really, really underused unit, and they can be extremely effective. I have 38 attack on them. That's the highest attack value of any unit in the game. So they can shred any unit. Basically what you want to do though is if you're going to use them in a cav battle, don't let them get charged like I did. He got a charge off on them with his Yari Cav, and that'll get rid of their first armor point, and they have 2 hit points. So it's not ideal to let them get charged, and that's why they lost so many men. But if you like flank around with the Kiyomasas and hit them from the rear, that unit's gone, like off the charge pretty much. Any unit in the game they can shred. So I didn't use them great that battle, but you can easily get a couple hundred kills with them if you use them right. And the same with Spears of Shizukatake. I think Kiyomasa is a little bit better, but Spears of Shizukatake is like a great guard hero, and they're also obviously great in a cav battle. I mean, they'll turn any cav battle in your favor pretty much. So now let's look at his units. He got a lot of kills off the charge, but I mean, all of these kills that he has, 136, 109, those are pretty much on meat shields. Like, I didn't lose very many men of my main infantry body at all. So yeah, I think that battle is pretty much just to showcase Donderbuss and give some thoughts on them, what I think about them. Basically, I just think they're overpowered, but again, overpowered units can be countered pretty easily if you know what you're doing. So, hope you enjoyed that battle. Hope you enjoyed the close-ups of 100 men getting killed in volleys. And we got plenty of more content coming, so I hope you guys enjoy, and I will talk to you later. See ya.